Hey everyone, it's John here from Hot Take Hockey, back with another video. This video is going to be on John Klingberg and potential destinations for him prior to the deadline. We're less than a month away to the NHL trade deadline, so I'm going to do a lot of videos like this, so look out for them. Frank Seravalli on the Daily Faceoff. He has 3 potential destinations here for Klingberg. Klingberg's had his struggles this year, but with the Anaheim Ducks, he still shows that he can be on the power play, provide some offensive presence. But the struggles in the defensive zone, he gets pressured a lot, he gets hit a lot. That's kind of what Seravalli talks about as well in this article. So shout out to Seravalli in the Daily Faceoff. So Seattle Kraken, New York Islanders, and Calgary Flames. I would say just right off the bat, I like the Kraken fit here. I wonder if they are going to go for another defenseman because they just added to their defense core. But they could use a guy. I mean, Schultz has been hurt at times, and Vince Dunn's obviously a nice fit. But maybe they want to add, like if it's cheap. This is where I go. If it's cheap, and talking about that third-party broker, if it's cheap, maybe it makes sense for one of these teams. Even the Flames, like I don't know if the fit here is heavy for the Flames because they've got their top 4, but there's been injuries like Chris Tanev's injury. So I think the Flames could see a fit here, again, if it's cheap. The New York Islanders, another conversation. Again, they just added Bo Horvat. They look good off the bat with him in the lineup. And they have Dobson. When Dobson's healthy, he's that guy. But I think they could use a backup. So what Dobson, if he's hurt or whatever, like I think Klingberg could be a good number 2 option there. I know they've had call-ups and things like that. So they do have on the right side Pulock, Dobson, and Mayfield. So maybe they do still trade Mayfield. I don't know. I think they like Mayfield. I think they keep him, but they might lose him in the offseason. So just looking at Seravalli, he says comparable trade returns. So this was in 2019. I could see something like this. I would say like a second-round pick for Klingberg if it's retained 50%. I could see that. Back in the Mike Green to Edmonton trade, I forgot that happened. Yeah, so I would say max a second-round pick, in my opinion, based on Klingberg's year. If it's retained 50%, I would look somewhere in between these two comparables. So the third-round pick maybe is an accurate description. 2 other teams that I could see go after Klingberg. And you know what? This is kind of a hot take, but I think when we talk about teams that maybe need a little bit more offense or teams that could benefit from, I don't know, a guy, I guess, that's just looking for a change of scenery, I would say a team like Carolina. I think Carolina has shown that guys can enter into that system. And after them trading Ethan Bear to the Canucks, I still think there's maybe a fit on that right side. So I would say Carolina. There is some rumors around that Carolina could get Klingberg back in the offseason. Obviously, it just didn't work out, I think, the price point. But they were apparently in on Klingberg, and they're in conversations. The one name that I would say, like Kotkaniemi, obviously hasn't worked out. I wonder if we're talking about Carolina, if Kotkaniemi gets moved in the offseason or at some point. He's had his moments, but hasn't worked to what they've expected. But a lot of other guys have stepped into Carolina and loved it there, and love the system. And Carolina is a real Stanley Cup contender this year. So I wonder if Klingberg goes to Carolina. If there's any other names I've thought, I mean, this is what I'll say is like, if the Wild were to trade Dumba at some point here, maybe they're a team in the conversation for Klingberg either now or in the offseason. But any other team, I'd probably just be thinking on the fly. Ottawa Senators could be another team for Klingberg. Maybe not now, though. I mean, if the Sens are going for a playoff spot, the Sens could be a team for Klingberg. So I'll throw that out there because I was going to, at the end of this video, talk about teams I could see going for Klingberg in the offseason. And yeah, the Ottawa Senators are one of those tems. I would also throw the Leafs in that equation if they were to not bring back Hall and not bring back, I mean, they just brought back Timmins, so so Klingberg's less of an option for the Leafs at this point. But another team I would say in the offseason are the Canucks. I think the Canucks, especially if they lose Shen and they like Ethan Bear, but if they have more fit on that right side, Klingberg could be an option. But again, if they're going towards a rebuild, but they've talked about the retool with the Canucks. So Sens in the offseason, but maybe now if they're pushing for playoffs. But outside of these 3 teams that Seravalli listed, which are the Kraken, Islanders, and Flames, I would throw the Hurricanes in that mix prior to the deadline. There's probably other teams out there, so comment your thoughts, which team you think could go after Klingberg. Subscribe, I really appreciate the support. Like, notification bell, all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the next video or stream. Peace.